Look the part, play the part. Yakko sponsors Vanarama National League on BT Sport.
Hello and welcome to the latest edition of the Vanarama National League highlight show here on BT Sport. We've got a packed half an hour for you, so let's get straight into the weekend's headlines. It's Miller time as Ricky bags 4 against a beaten Braintree town. The Forest Green machine hit top gear against Guiseley. And Kane Richards ruins Gary Mills's homecoming at York City. Struggling Braintree travelled to Crabble without a win under manager Hakan Hayrettin, but they made a dream start at Dover. Sam Matthews, signed on loan from Bournemouth, showed a touch of class by curling into the corner and opening the scoring. But it was a lead that lasted just 6 minutes. Left-back Aswad Thomas a bit fortunate to be credited with the equaliser, but Thomas will certainly take it. His last league goal came a year ago. Braintree's back line has been porous this season, and that's bad news when Ricky Miller's around. Dover's number 9 is their leading marksman. He turned the game on its head to put the home side in front midway through the first half. Miller is capable of producing the spectacular, and he did just that to double his account and make it 3-1 as Chris Kinnear's men threatened to run riot. And the best was yet to come. Miller was a man on a mission, outdoing himself to complete a sensational first half hat-trick and put the game to bed with just 33 minutes played. And Dover went into the break with a 5-1 lead. Jack Parkinson on hand to score for the second game in a row, the visitors in disarray. Braintree keeper Joe Taylor had only signed for the club the day before this match, and he'll be hoping he doesn't see Miller again in a hurry. He grabbed his 4th of the game to complete the scoring just after half-time. Miller is now top scorer in the National League after his second hat-trick of the season.
What can you say about Ricky Miller that's not been said before? Works really hard for the team, gives it all week in, week out, and scores goals. You know, he's doing a bit of a job for the team at the moment as well. He's not playing straight down the middle, so you know, the amount of work rate he's doing for the team, as well as scoring goals, full credit to him.
It was a closer game second half, but really, if you look at the chances, the shots they had at a goal, and so did we. I think we just had more than them. I think they had 6 or 7 shots. I think we had about 10. Their goalkeepers made about 5 good saves. So it's one of them days we've got to dust off and go again, but not good enough by us.
It was top against joint bottom at the new lawn. Forest Green are looking like the team to beat after a run of 6 without defeat. Guiseley came into this match on the back of consecutive wins, but had taken only 1 point away from home all season. After a bright start from Adam Lockwood's visitors, it was the league leaders who asserted themselves after 20 minutes. Former Premier League player Darren Carter finding the top corner, his first at home since New Year's Day. With the deadlock broken, it was time for Forest Green to turn on the style in the second half. A superb turn and finish from Christian Doige, the Welshman's 4th goal since signing from Dagenham and Redbridge in the summer. And Doige was in the thick of the action as Mark Cooper's men made the game safe. It was Guiseley's Jake Lawler that got to Dan Wishart's cross first to turn the ball into his own net. 3-0 Forest Green just before the hour mark. The hosts were on course for a club record 6th clean sheet in a row, and they threatened to add to their advantage at the other end. Liam Noble's eyes lit up, but his effort came back off the post. And it was Noble who then crossed for Doige. This time he couldn't hit the target. Another 3 points and almost an entirely satisfying day for Cooper.
I think we started particularly well. We were a little bit sloppy for the first 20 minutes, and I thought Guiseley did quite well. I thought the referee helped that because he kept stopping the game. A ridiculous amount of stoppages. I thought his performance was horrendous today for both teams, and both managers and benches were really frustrated. We had a lot of children here today that wanted to come and watch a game of football, but it was spoilt in the first half. But I'm pleased with the second half. I thought we controlled the game nicely and came out with 3-0 win.
Maybe on a different day it might be a different story, you know. We take a few chances and it changes the game. But yeah, we come here, good effort from the boys, but we just fell short a little bit in terms of quality, I thought, against a good side.
Mickey Mellon's tenure as Tranmere boss had seen a cross-border derby victory over Wrexham, followed by an FA Cup exit at Barrow. Match number 3 saw the club travel to the West Midlands for a first ever meeting with Solihull Moors. It was a contest that burst into life in bizarre circumstances. The linesman raising his flag incorrectly for an offside, Moors defenders stopped, and Tranmere's Jake Ferriby was presented with a gift and his first goal of the season. Solihull were on a high after reaching the FA Cup first round for the first time in their history. Skipper Ryan Bezic was inches away from an equaliser after the break. Marcus Bignot's boys thought they might have been awarded a penalty, but referee Adam Bromley penalised Shepherd Murrumbedzi and not Tranmere's Steve McNulty. Mellon's men came close to putting the game out of sight. Andy Cook's shot was parried by Danny Lewis, but this time Kirby's goal was ruled out for offside. But the officials were only delaying the inevitable. Lewis failing to deal with Lois Maynard's shot, and Kirby was in the right place again to double his tally and Tranmere's lead with 8 minutes to play. And the visitors put the icing on the cake in the final minute. Darren Stevenson's cross turned in by last season's top scorer, James Norwood. Tranmere's biggest victory of the campaign and 2 league wins out of 2 for their new manager.
It's a tough place to come, really difficult game, we knew it was going to be that, but the boys stuck to the plan and showed a really professional performance against a very good Solihull team. We've got a good manager, very well organised, and we're delighted that we got the 3 points.
We made a little tactical change which helped us get momentum, and in that period when they scored the second goal we were certainly the team in the ascendancy, so it kind of knocked the stuffing out of us, the second goal, but then from then our game management, like I said, that part of the game we need to improve on and be better.
It's been an incredible few weeks at York City. Saturday saw the return to Bootham Crescent of Gary Mills taking charge as manager for the second time. His previous spell saw the club win promotion to the Football League. Former boss Jackie McNamara, meanwhile, was watching from the stands as the club's new chief executive. Informed Chester were the visitors, unbeaten in their last 7 in the league. They had the best chance of a cagey first 45 as Ryan Lloyd blazed over. It's been 8 matches since John McCarthy's men even conceded a goal. They showed their superiority after the interval. Elliot Jarrell has scored some spectacular goals this season. That was nearly another to add to the collection. York were knocked out of the FA Cup by National League North side Curzon Ashton earlier in the week, a sign that Mills has a big job on his hands. He was indebted to his goalkeeper Kyle Leatheran for denying James Allaby and keeping the game goalless. But with 20 minutes to go and against the run of play, the home side were in front. Matt Fry's header deemed to have crossed the line. The first goal Chester have conceded in over 12 hours and a crucial lead for York to hang on to. The away side piled on the pressure. Jarrell's free kick came back off the post. Mills was sacked as Wrexham manager less than a fortnight ago, but he must have felt his luck was starting to turn when Chester's Kane Richards produced the miss of the day in the National League, as York City's goal was leading a charmed life. But the Chester onslaught paid dividends in the 92nd minute. Lloyd with the cross, Richards making amends for that miss to rescue a draw. It may be 10 matches without a win for York in all competitions, but the visiting manager more than happy with the result.
The points are right at York City. York City are a big club in this division, and that's 8 games unbeaten now in the league. That's an unbelievable 5 wins and 3 draws is an unbelievable effort from my group of players and my staff.
I was like 90th minute thinking I'm going to do the lottery tonight because I've hit the post 2 or 3 times, and you can see why they're on a good run, but it's about me coming in here now and making big decisions very, very quickly. We need to play better than that, we know, but at the moment what I'm saying to my players, just give me everything, which they done. They put the bodies on the line, and if it wasn't for that, we possibly might have lost the game.
Mills's former club, Wrexham, are yet to make a permanent appointment since his departure. Dean Keats is the man in caretaker charge. His reign began in embarrassing fashion, an FA Cup exit at the hands of 8th tier Stamford in midweek. Bromley were the visitors to the racecourse ground on their best league run of the season, 3 without defeat. It was a subdued atmosphere in North Wales, but the home side were able to lift some of that gloom on the stroke of half-time. Striker Sean Harrod volleying in his 3rd goal for Wrexham, all of which have come in his last 3 games. But Neil Smith's side responded 11 minutes after the break. Blair Turgott has been in fine form for Bromley of late. That was his 5th goal of the campaign, making him the club's top scorer. The game was on a knife edge, and the decisive moment came with 10 minutes to play. Jerry McDonough, on loan from Nottingham Forest, drilled past goalkeeper Alan Julian to finally give Wrexham fans something to smile about. And Keats knows he needs wins to enhance his own job prospects.
The club means a lot to me. Whether it be a manager this season, next season, whatever season, I'd like to be a manager in a football club, so that's not my decision, that's up to the board. As long as the club get the right person and take the club forward, that's all that matters.
It was a game where we wanted to just make those right decisions, and it was the decisions that cost us today. You know, we had the chances, and the back 4 were fantastic as well for us, you know, throwing themselves in the way, and it was just it was a bit of a gift of a goal. But I was looking for a response from last week, and they gave me one, and it was just a shame that we couldn't come away with something today.
2 of the top 5 met at Victoria Road. Dagenham and Redbridge seem the best placed team, keeping pace with Forest Green in the title race. Macclesfield 10, on the other hand, are aiming for the playoffs. The Daggers hadn't conceded a goal in their previous 3 home games, so it looked ominous for John Askey's side when Fajiri Okunabiri fired through Craig Ross's legs inside 20 minutes, his 4th of the campaign. John Still's team had lost just 1 of their previous 7. One of the most encouraging aspects for Still in that time has been the form of Corey Whiteley, who was inches away from doubling Dagenham's lead right on half-time. But it was the second half where the visitors grew in stature. John McComb's header was parried away by Elliot Justin. Macclesfield were unbeaten in their last 4 away matches, and they were knocking on the door. Chris Holroyd at full stretch, unable to keep the ball down. The hosts went in search of a second that would kill off the game. Jordan Maguire drew, working space for the shot, but he couldn't produce a composed finish. The away side were very much still in the match. That man Holroyd on the end of another cross, again unable to direct his efforts on target. But after 45 minutes of pressure, Macclesfield's endeavour was rewarded in stoppage time. Paul Lewis heading the ball back across goal, and it was 3rd time lucky for Holroyd, who bundled in his 5th of the season. The Daggers lose ground on the league leaders after an impressive display from their opponents.
I thought we deserved something out of the game. For to come away with no points, I think it'd have been an injustice. But no, it's really pleasing to obviously score right at the end and get the point.
It was a good competitive game. I don't think there was a lot in it, if I'm being honest. I thought we should have made a bit more of our chances. I thought we had some good chances to get the second goal. But fair play to them, they kept going and scored at the end, and they'd probably feel that they deserved that, if I'm being fair.
Gateshead travelled to the Gallagher Stadium looking to bounce back from Wednesday's disappointing FA Cup exit at the hands of National League North side Alfreton Town. Despite that poor result, the Heat had won their last 2 in the league and almost took the lead after just 12 minutes when Danny Johnson's effort cannoned off the post. Moments later, the away side once again came close to breaking the deadlock, but goalkeeper Lee Worgan showed great reactions to keep out Sam Jones. Maidstone are without a home win since August, and they fell behind on the stroke of half-time when Danny Johnson latched on to Manny Smith's flick-on to bundle in his 4th of the campaign. And with 20 minutes remaining, the visitors doubled their advantage. Jones robbed Jack Paxman on the halfway line and drove at the home defence before the ball eventually fell to Johnson to fire home his 2nd of the afternoon. Jay Saunders brought in highly rated former Norwich City striker Jamal Lozit in the week in a bid to bolster his side's attacking options. And the Jamaican perhaps should have been awarded a penalty after he appeared to have been brought down by Smith. Referee Craig Hicks wasn't convinced. In the end, though, it was a deserved victory for Neil Aspin's men, who could have made the score more comfortable when Luke Hannant screwed his shot wide with only a couple of minutes remaining. That's 3 league wins on the bounce now for Gateshead, who moved to within 3 points of the playoffs.
Well, I'm obviously really pleased after our performance we put in on Wednesday night to come here and get a good result and a good performance. It's just what we needed, because spirits were low after that game. We obviously said a lot of things afterwards because we were very disappointed, but the players have responded today and I've got a reaction from them, so I'm very pleased.
Lowly North Ferriby are on an awful run at present, 9 losses from their last 10 games, scoring only a single goal. It would be difficult for form to change against a Boreham Wood side that have the league's second best defence, conceding just 11 all season. This was a game the hosts largely dominated, Kenny Davis with the clearest of early opportunities. It's been a tough first campaign in the 5th tier for Steve Howsham's team. They've scored only 6 times. Connor Oliver almost made it 7, but he was denied by an excellent fingertip save from Grant Smith to ensure it was goalless at the break. The hosts made the breakthrough moments after the interval through on-loan Forest Green man Anthony Jeffrey, who cut inside before unleashing a swerving strike into the back of the North Ferriby goal. Someone who's come out with some credit from the visitors' dismal recent run is on-loan Hull keeper Rory Watson. He kept the score respectable on the day, first showing good reaction to deny Angelo Balanta at point-blank range. Then he superbly turned Adriano Moak's curling effort around the post. The single goal was enough to make it 3 wins on the spin for Luke Garrard's side. North Ferriby's dismal run of form continues.
Barrow made the long trip south to Woking, hoping to continue their fine run of form, which has seen them unbeaten in their last 10 games. It's their best run at this level since the opening 14 games of the 1984-85 season. And key to that impressive run has been the form of Byron Harrison. He made it 7 for the campaign when he headed home Ackle Wright's cross after 20 minutes. Despite losing their last 2, Gary Hill's side are unbeaten in 4 games at Kingfield. They were given a golden opportunity to get back into the game just after half-time. Musa Diarra's high boot connected with Gozi Ugwu inside the box. Referee Carl Brook pointed to the spot. Matt Tubbs was the man who stepped up to confidently make it 3 goals in 4 games since joining on loan from Forest Green. In a tight game of few clear-cut chances, it was the hosts who almost snatched all 3 points when Joel Dixon sliced his clearance. But the England C team goalkeeper recovered well to keep out Denon Lewis. A point apiece, a fair result, but Barrow boss Paul Cox was left with the feeling that his side were hard done by.
When you 1-0 up, never really felt as though there was a real threat. The penalty comes out from nowhere, not too sure how the referee saw it, but probably the only person in the ground that thought it was a penalty. And we go on with a point, but look, the lads have been brilliant. I mean, somebody in the box then just told me how many games we're unbeaten. We're progressing, we're growing, and once again, it's steady, and you know, we look forward to the games that are coming up now.
Bottom at the start of the day, Southport desperately need to start racking up the points if they're to extend their stay in the 5th tier to an 8th season. They faced a Sutton side who had lost their last 5 games away, but it was the hosts who should have taken the lead when Andre Jones shot badly wide, with only Ross Warner in the Sutton goal to beat. Jones did make amends just before half-time, demonstrating composure to fire home what is the first league goal of his career. Paul Doswell's team drew level in the second half after an incredible 55 seconds. First, the visitors were awarded a penalty after Neil Ashton tripped Ross Stern in the box. But Magnus Norman was equal to Nicky Bailey's spot kick. Though from the resulting corner, referee Anthony Backhouse once again pointed to the spot, adjudging Nathan Ferguson to have handled. This time it was Jamie Collins taking the responsibility from 12 yards to level the score. The point still enough to lift Steve Burr's Southport off the bottom.
Two of the league's likely promotion contenders met at Sincil Bank as Lincoln hosted Eastleigh, with both sides looking to get back to winning ways in the league. Ronnie Moore experienced defeat for the first time as Eastleigh boss last time out in the 1-0 home defeat to Dagenham and Redbridge. His team came closest to opening the scoring in the first half, when Ryan Bird placed his shot just wide after being teed up by Luke Colson. Danny Cowley's side went into this game joint top goal scorers in the division, and they were almost aided in their pursuit of 3 points by Eastleigh's on-loan Arsenal keeper Ryan Huddart, but Nathan Arnold failed to capitalise. Huddart was only making his third appearance of the season, and he gifted Lincoln another chance when he once again fumbled from a high cross. Fortunately for the away side, Joe Partington was in the right place at the right time to clear off the line. In the end, it was the visitors who almost snatched it at the death, but Sam Habergam headed Partington's header onto the bar to ensure it ended all square, a result that both managers were content with.
As 0-0 draws go, I thought it was an exciting game, and you know, the fact that our crowd was appreciative of our efforts at the end probably says that what a good game it was.
Yeah, I think for the 0-0 it was a decent game. I thought two good sides having a good goal. You know, it wasn't like it was a boring game. Both sides had opportunities. I think we've probably had the better ones and missed them. But overall, I think no one can complain about. I think the draw is probably a fair result.
Torquay have won just one of their last 8 games in all competitions, including Tuesday's 2-1 FA Cup defeat to Woking. They look for a more positive result this time round against an Aldershot side who have lost only one of their previous 10. And it was the Shots who were on top for the majority of this one. On this occasion, Bernard Mensah testing Brendan Moore. It was to be the first of a string of saves in a man-of-the-match performance from the American keeper, as he made further stops to keep out Matt McClure. Then Shamir Fenelon, both from close range. And when Moore was finally beaten by McClure's long-range strike, the woodwork came to the home side's rescue to ensure it finished goalless.
Well, Aldershot lost ground on the playoff places with that draw, and Tranmere Rovers took full advantage. Barrow and Macclesfield also failed to secure 3 points over the weekend, which means Mickey Mellon's side move into 4th. The top 3 remain the same, with Forest Green extending their lead at the summit to 4 points. And that massive scoreline at Dover Athletic means Chris Kinnear's men move up to 8th. Guiseley are back at the foot of the table after Southport gained a point at home against Sutton. Braintree will be hoping to make amends after that 6-1 thrashing at the hands of Dover when they travel to face Woking on Tuesday. Wrexham's victory over Bromley means they move up to 14th, whereas Neil Smith's side drop to 17th. And pressure mounts on Maidstone United manager Jay Saunders as they lost their 4th match in a row. They sit 18th. Make sure you join Matt Smith this Saturday from 11:45 as we bring you more Vanarama National League action, this time from Holker Street, as Ronnie Moore's Eastleigh make the 600-mile round trip to face Paul Cox's Barrow, exclusively live on BT Sport 1.
That's it for this week. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again soon.
Look the part, play the part. Yakko sponsors Vanarama National League on BT Sport.